What's it like to sleep in a transparent capsule hanging off the side of a cliff? We found out not once, but twice. In this video, we're taking you inside two of the most daring overnight stays in Peru's Sacred Valley, SkyLodge and StarLodge. One requires scaling straight up a mountain. The other has luxury hot tubs with a view. And if you have a fear of heights, both will put your courage to the test. We'll show you the climbs, the capsules, the food, the views, and help you decide which one is best for you. The Sacred Valley is one of the most fascinating regions in Peru, rich in Incan history, traditional villages, and dramatic landscapes. It also happens to be just an hour from Cusco and a great place to acclimate before heading to Machu Picchu, which, by the way, is where we'll be hiking in our next video, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. But beyond the Sacred Valley's ancient ruins and artisan markets, the pair of capsule hotels have been on our radar for years, but we couldn't decide which one to stay at, so we set out to compare both of them, starting with SkyLodge. What makes SkyLodge truly unique is there's only one way to reach your room, by climbing a via ferrata, a vertical route equipped with metal rungs and cables that you clip into for safety. So when we arrived at the base of the mountain, we suited up in harnesses and helmets, and our guides gave us a full briefing, including how to use our carabiners along the climb. If you're new here, there's something you should know. Danny has a pretty serious fear of heights, but he never lets that stop him. Through years of exposure and training, he's gone from this to this.
This is terrifying, my legs are shaking.
Still scared, but finding the courage to keep going and inspiring the heck out of people while doing it. This will, however, be the first time that he's suspended at heights for this long, literally sleeping in the air. So we'll see how that goes. But first, the climb. Are you feeling ready? This was our first time really doing a via ferrata, and since this one is rated a beginner route for this style of climbing, it was the perfect introduction to it. And while it does require some physical strength, for some it is more of a mental challenge than anything else. The climb to SkyLodge typically takes about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on your pace. And as you'll see, we took plenty of breaks to soak in the views and calm a few nerves. I think Danny's mad at me because I told him to pause for a photo op. And this is what we have coming across here. But the biggest obstacle was just ahead.
All right, love. Tell us a little bit what's going to happen.
We have reached the bridge portion, Puente, and we've got David here holding it steady while we make our way across. So This is epic.
Now, get together. Understand more, then move your body in front, forward, yes. Good. Try there, please. Perfect. Yes, so good job. Nice. On top.
You did it! Yeah!
Okay. Thank you, love. I'm filming you.
We're almost there. The sun is starting to set. It's so beautiful.
Good job.
After nearly an hour of climbing, we finally made it to the top, greeted by jaw-dropping views and the dining pod, where we would later eat dinner. But before we could relax, we had one final traverse to our sleeping capsule. Thankfully for Danny, our pod was the closest one to the main area, which meant the shortest final climb of the day.
So we just got into our pod. It's about 5:30, so roughly an hour and a half of climbing. And there were a few parts that I felt extremely exposed, but we were able to take it nice and easy. There was no rush in getting up here, but I will say, I had to take a few moments to recenter myself. When we got into the pod though, I made a mistake of looking at the attachment points, and it is on the side of a cliff. So I don't know how I'm gonna do with like opening these windows and enjoying the view. To be quite frank, I'm glad that I'm here. I think the year worth of climbing has helped, and I'm really proud that I climbed 1,500 feet into the air to get into this pod that I am now questioning about whether I'm going to sleep in. Your turn.
It was awesome! Oh my gosh, it was everything that I was hoping it would be. Highly recommend this experience. But now we've climbed down from the dining pod. We are in our pod, which actually sleeps 4, in case anyone wants to join us. But let's start with the necessities, the bathroom. This is actually really impressive for a bathroom. Obviously you have the toilet. So for women, if you have to pee, you pee in this, and then you take this part out and you dump it down this. You can probably guess what guys can do instead. They just get to pee right into there. If you go number 2, you go in the bag, and then there's like a chute that goes down. They've made it as nice in here as you can. We have potpourri, we've got soap and spritzers, we have potable water so we can drink and wash and do everything. And then the best part, check out this view. Oh my gosh. And then also right up there is the dining pod, which is good that we're not too far. I think that's better for Danny that we're a little bit close, but I'm gonna close this for now so Danny doesn't remember that we're really high up in the air.
It's that view right there that messed me up the most.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see that. I did not see that originally. We're just not gonna pay attention to that part. So then here's the rest of our pod. We have extra blankets, we have tea, we have hot water, sugar. There's also a deck of cards. There's some dominoes, which I think was a really nice touch. So you can have a little game night up here. I think that's really sweet. And then this is also a very important piece, our walkie-talkie. If we need anything, if we're going somewhere, if we have an emergency, which we're hoping we don't, we have our walkie-talkie. We have 2 single beds here, which we're currently using just to house our stuff. But then we have our bed. Look how big this thing is. I'm not gonna get all the way in since my shoes are dirty, but it's actually quite comfortable.
Don't be fooled. She's 4'10" and 1/2 inches. I haven't tested it yet. All right. So, okay.
Right?
I still have plenty of headroom. We can open this up, see some stars. So far, we are thoroughly impressed, but we are going to enjoy the sunset and then get up to dinner in an hour.
Hi, David and Cesar. Danny and Leanne are coming up for dinner now.
I think it's a little bit more scary in the dark. I'm not entirely certain why I choose to do these things. I'm always given the option. For some reason, I think I choose the best one because you know what? Fears are always worth overcoming.
When we reached the dining pod, we were welcomed with freshly squeezed juice, followed by a full multi-course dinner. It started with a warm pumpkin cream soup complete with all the toppings. Then a fresh salad, chicken cordon bleu with potatoes, and finished with a sweet granola and fruit dessert. Everything was so delicious, and even more impressive when you consider that someone had to carry every single ingredient up this mountain. We didn't take that for granted, and we left feeling incredibly grateful. Man, dinner was amazing. And now I'm either going to try and convince Danny to play dominoes with me, or I think what's probably gonna happen is we're gonna pass out and then wake up bright and early because we have a really cool way of getting down from here. We actually had a surprisingly good night's sleep. The bed was super comfy and the thick blankets kept us cozy and warm, even suspended on the side of a cliff. After a quiet morning, we climbed back up to the breakfast pod where, once again, a feast was waiting. Fresh coffee, meats and cheeses, fruit bowls with yogurt, granola, and honey, and eggs made to order. We were fueled up and ready for the final adventure of our stay at SkyLodge. We had an amazing breakfast this morning and then just spent a little more time relaxing in our pod, enjoying the view. And now it's time to head back down the mountain. And we've hinted about how excited we are, but we are going to be taking 6 zip lines to get back down to the bottom. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I've actually never even been ziplining before, so I'm really pumped for this. Also, it is a bit chillier this morning. We are still in the shadows, so if you're wondering why I look like a little puffball, it's because it's cold. Before we could zipline back down, there was one final climb, up to the highest pod where the trail begins. And let's just say Danny was extra grateful we only had to do this once.
Yay!
When we reached the first zipline platform, our guide David gave a quick safety briefing: how to position your hands, what to avoid doing mid-flight, and what to expect from each line. After that, it was time to clip in and fly. How you feeling, Danny?
With this, I'm feeling fine because I really have no control other than doing what they told me to do, and it goes pretty quickly, so.
It looks like it goes really quickly. I feel more confident like climbing. This is the first time that I felt nervous on this, just because I feel like I don't have control. But I'm excited.
Good job, man. Good job.
Awesome!
Okay.
The first one was smooth sailing, and the second was the one we were most excited for, since it's the longest and fastest of the bunch.
2 zip lines down, and that second one got a little intense, huh?
Very intense.
It went on for so long, but it was so good.
Apparently, since I'm under 100 pounds, I wouldn't have made it across, he said, because it's so long and it kind of goes up at the end, and he didn't want me getting stuck in the middle, and so he says you don't weigh enough to go on your own. Thankfully, I was able to do the rest of them solo, though me being too small did become kind of a theme.
Don't need to break.
I was like, he's not giving me the sign. Last one. Even though our stay at SkyLodge was behind us, we still had one more adventurous night ahead. But first, we took a quick lunch stop in Ollantaytambo, home to one of the Sacred Valley's most impressive sites, and one of the most charming towns. You can check out our full tour of it in our last video. We'll get right back to the video, but if you're planning a trip to Peru, we've made something for you. We spent 3 months traveling across this country, hiking in the Andes, exploring ancient ruins, staying in places like SkyLodge, and uncovering the best hidden gems most travelers never find. Now we've taken everything we've learned and built the complete Peru travel guide, a digital map with over 200 things to do, including hikes, adventures, cultural sites, unique stays, and restaurants. It also includes our best travel tips, like how to get to Machu Picchu and avoid altitude sickness, to understanding local etiquette and getting around. It's available now, and as a special thank you to our YouTube community, you can use code YT25 for 25% off your purchase. So check out the link in the description, and now let's get back to exploring the Sacred Valley. It was now time for StarLodge, a similar cliffside capsule experience, but there are a few key differences that stood out right away. For one, we actually drove up to the base area where the dining tent is located and started with another safety briefing. Then it was harnesses and helmets back on as our guide Joe led us along a trail to the cable system. Since you start at a higher elevation, the climb is technically shorter. But don't let that fool you, there's still plenty of adventure ahead.
Let's get all punto de
All right, we are beginning our climb up to the StarLodge. We are in pod number 3. This part definitely felt familiar. Clipping in, stepping carefully, and crossing a suspension bridge early in the climb. For those with a fear of heights, it's still a rush, but compared to the exposed bridge at SkyLodge, Danny said this one is much more manageable.
It's not quite the bridge from yesterday.
From there, the real climb begins. A series of metal staircases bolted into the cliffside. It's not as intense or technical as the Via Ferrata we did the day before, but it still brings the adrenaline and those same dramatic drop-offs. About 20 minutes later, we reached our capsule, perched on the edge of the mountain, ready to be our home for the night. Once we both made it safely into the pod, our guide Joe joined us to show us around and point out a few key differences. The capsule itself felt nearly identical to SkyLodge. A big cozy bed, panoramic views, shelves for all of our gear, plus tea, water, and even some games to pass the time. But there was one major difference here at StarLodge, the bathroom. Hard to believe, but up here there actually is running water, full flush toilet, running water for the sink, and of course, this incredible view of the Sacred Valley. But now it's time for probably the best feature of the StarLodge, the hot tub spas. This is really where StarLodge sets itself apart as a luxury experience. After climbing back down and crossing the bridge, we reached one of the highlights of the stay, the hot tub area. There were bins to stash our climbing gear, and each pod has their own private changing area, complete with a hot shower, fluffy towels, and robes. And the tubs, perfectly warm and perched right on the edge of the cliff with sweeping views of the Sacred Valley. We easily could have stayed here all night, and honestly, we almost did. But once the sun dipped behind the mountains, it was time to head down to the dining tent for another incredible meal. The biggest difference with dinner at StarLodge is that it's on solid ground instead of inside a capsule in the air, which meant Danny could actually relax. And we were excited to find out that the menu is exactly the same at the two properties, and we were more than happy to enjoy it all over again. After dessert, we made our way back up to the pod for the night, and to find out exactly why this place is called StarLodge. Let's just say the name lives up to the view. Hey guys, just letting you know that Danny and Leanne made it back safely to pod 3.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too, thanks for everything. Hasta mañana. Good morning. Oh, we made it through the night here at the StarLodge. I did wake up a few times. I don't know about you, Danny, but when I did, because we've opened up all the curtains and there's so many windows that like every time I woke up and opened my eyes, there's like the Milky Way in this window over here. And it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, the times that I did wake up, and I think you and I woke up at like around 1 a.m. chatting, and all we could do is just look out at the stars.
Yeah, really enjoying our experience here. We have a photo shoot coming up, so they do offer a photo and video package, and we wanted to test that out to see what that service is like.
It's for 400 soles, roughly 100 USD at this point.
So we're going to test that out, and then afterwards we get to go back down to the hot tub, which I'm really looking forward to. The photo shoot was really fun, and we should mention that the photographer is with you on the climb up the day prior as well, and then captures more moments down at the hot tubs. And speaking of the spa area, one thing we both really loved about StarLodge was getting to enjoy the hot tubs twice. Soaking the night before helped us warm up after the climb, but having the chance to dip back in the next morning was just as magical. We visited during Peru's winter, so starting the day with a steaming hot soak while watching the valley come to life felt incredible. It was the perfect near ending to this unforgettable experience. Final flip and unflip.
Yay!
I'm not sad about it. Who am I without
Your clip.
my clips now? With only one thing left to do, we took off our climbing gear and enjoyed another delicious breakfast. As we sat there soaking it all in, we started comparing both stays, and we've put together a quick cheat sheet to help you decide which one is right for you. With the meals being the same and equally delicious at both properties, the biggest difference comes down to the climb. If you're craving more adventure, SkyLodge's Via Ferrata definitely brings the thrill, but StarLodge's metal staircase still offers an exciting and slightly easier ascent. The pods themselves are nearly identical in design, but StarLodge edges ahead with a full functioning toilet and running water, making for a slightly more comfortable stay. As for the amenities, SkyLodge ends with an adrenaline rush, 6 ziplines back to the base. Meanwhile, StarLodge leans into relaxation with luxurious cliffside hot tubs. So is one better than the other? Honestly, no. They're both incredible experiences. It really just depends on what kind of adventure you want. And if you're torn, there's actually a combo package that lets you do the Via Ferrata and ziplines at SkyLodge by day and soak under the stars at StarLodge by night. Let us know in the comments which one you'd choose, and don't forget to subscribe to follow along on more outdoor adventures around the world.